The state of the perfected man. One who surrenders oneself to the saints is illumined with the knowledge of the self. One who understands that the entire world is only our own original nature cannot become separate even if such effort were to be made. Such a one has no fear. The fact is that once it is known what the truth is, one's understanding cannot be changed. Even if one tries, one cannot be made separate. For such a one, all visible objects are only Brahman. Iron that has been turned into gold by the touch of the touchstone will not turn back into iron. When one has the understanding that not only am I Brahman, but everything is Brahman, never again becomes separate or estranged. One may have lived for a long years and even lifetimes under the impression that one is a separate individual being with a body, mind, ego. But once there is a clear seeing of truth, that one is the Supreme Brahman, the reality, God, the existence, consciousness, bliss, which is itself appearing as everything, all the names and forms of the universe. Once that clear seeing happens only once, that understanding that one is Brahman will never go away, irrespective of the external experiences, changeful experiences, day-to-day life experiences. One's understanding that one is Brahman will never go away. The ignorant person takes oneself as an individual, body, mind, ego. The jnani, the perfected man, takes oneself as Brahman. The ignorant one sees the world as separate individual things other than oneself. The jnani, the perfected man, perceives the world as an expression of Brahman. The perfected man do not see the world as separate individual thing other than oneself. From his point of view, there is no world, there is only Brahman appearing as everything. The perfected man is a devotee, but he becomes God. He has understood by his own experience that primarily he is only Brahman. Even to use the word became is a wrong statement. He was already God. One whom the saints declared as a free man and have called as their own relative has become a perfected man. The individual is Brahman, nothing else. Saints have taken him into their fold and given him a place of rest. He is convinced that God is the devotee and the devotee is God. The Brahman, God, existence, consciousness, bliss, is itself appearing as all the names and forms. From the point of view of the name and form, if we look at Brahman, if we imagine, if we think about Brahman, if we think about God from the point of view of the body, mind, ego, it will appear as though we are a devotee and there is a separate God out there. So we keep praying to the God for a good fortune to remove our suffering. But the perfected man has shifted his point of view. He perceives the body, mind, ego and the world from the place of Brahman, the supreme reality, from the place of God, through the eyes of God. He looks at the body-mind ego and the world perceived by the body-mind ego. Now the perfected man blesses the body-mind ego and the world. A devotee prays to the Brahman, to the God. The perfected man, the realized man, the jnani, blesses the body-mind ego and the world. He is untouched by the body-mind ego and the world. So the devotee has become God when the point of view, when the identity shifts from the body-mind ego to the Brahman, which is always there. He has not acquired anything new. He has not become anything new. It was always there. He was always God. But because of ignorance, he took himself as just a body-mind ego. And hence he has to beg, he has to pray to an imaginary God. Now, he realized he himself, she himself is that basic existential reality Brahman. So now, he blesses the body, mind, ego and the world, which is just a temporary movement of oneself on the surface. Now, once one has become this supreme reality, one has realized that one itself is the supreme reality. Now, all need for further talk has ended. When one sees one is Brahman, everything in the universe is just the same Brahman expressing itself as everything, then there is nothing to talk anymore for that perfected man. The true seeing is to see oneself as God. Everybody is God, whether they know or do not know. The true seeing, the perfect seeing, the seeing through the third eye, seeing through the realized eyes, seeing through the eyes of a jnani, what is seen is that oneself is God and everything is God. Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss. That which we were calling a monkey, the mind, has now become Maruti, Hanuman. He is now God. He has become Paramatman as he is. In name and form, he became God. The monkey became Hanuman. The body, mind, ego, the individual became God. When it is realized that only one reality appearing as the ego, body and mind. There is no separate individual things in this universe. There is only one basic reality which is appearing as everything. When this is understood, that individual becomes God. When there was no understanding about one's own reality, there was this identity that I am a separate individual existence, ego. I am just a monkey. I am just a human body. But when the reality is understood clearly, that oneself is the supreme reality, then one becomes God. One is established as God. He has become Paramatman. In name and form he became God. Even when the body, mind, ego is there, one is established in the grandeur of God because the body, mind, ego is seen as an expression, as a movement of God, like the waves or the movement of the seawater. The pot is an expression, it's a shape of the clay. This universe, this body, mind, ego is the shape taken by the supreme reality. The name and form may change, but the supreme reality will always be there. Lakshman, the devotee of Rama, is also without birth and death, invisible, formless and without color or shape. Lakshman, we call Lakshman as the devotee of Rama. He is a devotee. Rama is called as God, but still the devotee is also God. He is also without birth and death, invisible, formless and without color or shape. These are the attributes of God, and this glory has been absorbed in him. This is the real glory, real wealth. All other scenery and any other glory are all fictitious. The glory of God is formless, invisible, without birth and death, and without color or shape. An inherent quality of water is to drown anybody who may fall into river. The essential quality of a scorpion is to sting. The essential quality of the sugar is to have sweetness. Similarly, the glory of Brahman, which is existence, consciousness, bliss, which is formless, invisible, unlimited, serene, without a shape or color. This glory of Brahman, the glory of God, becomes one's own glory when one realizes that I am God, I am Brahman, the supreme reality. The 8 spiritual powers are its inseparable qualities, the Brahman's inseparable qualities. There are many spiritual powers like perceiving very minute things, which is called Anima Siddhi. And there are many such spiritual powers which are all inherent in Brahman. Everything is an expression of Brahman, and all the spiritual powers one attains through intense tapas practices are all an expression of the one basic reality, which is Brahman. Your real power and strength is complete omnipresence. So there is no need to try and work intensely, practice intensely for attaining some spiritual powers. The real glory is your omnipresence. Being established in truth, one becomes omnipresence, which is pervading everything, irrespective of the time and space. When one is established as Brahman, the basic reality, he immediately fills up the entire universe. This is the highest glory. Glory is not attaining some spiritual powers in order to manipulate this name and form universe. One's real glory is to be the truth, which is omnipresence. Therefore, you should not pay any heed to the siddhis or spiritual powers. Do not repeatedly test whether the power is in you or not. It is not proper to check with your fingers whether a mango is ripe. When it is ripe, it is definitely going to give a good flavor. It will taste good because the fruit is ripe. For one who is realized and established in Brahman, there is no need to test oneself whether I have some spiritual powers or not. God should remain quietly in the temple, and when worshippers are there, they will definitely worship. When the son comes of age, he is sure to have a mustache. If you are sure about Brahman, you are sure to attain his power through knowledge. You should not be devoid of the faith by being depressed if your strength is found to be limited. The man of knowledge, Jnani, should always be sure that bad omens or defeat will never turn their face towards him. In short, one's confidence should not waver. One should never forget one's position. Our true nature of being, which is the same as the Sadguru, should never cease seeing only Paramatman. We should have the continuous unhindered darshan of Paramatman. God says, the one who takes my name will be successful. Then who will hinder or show any bad omen, and how? Your own power, your own strength is always with you, filling you inside and out. The God who is neither good nor bad resides only in you. He is the highly benevolent God. All of the spiritual powers are only at his feet. Do not look at them. Your real glory is your own existence reality and not the 8 spiritual powers. All that exists is only Paramatman, which is the essence of all these powers. It is by his power that the Siddhis have the inner motivation of the spirit, and by his power that they are powerful. If this God Self is not having the power of the Self or the strength of the Self, then from where are these spiritual powers going to draw their strength and wealth? All of the powers which create and maintain the numerous worlds draw their strength from the Supreme Self Paramatman only. Thus, the only thing that is necessary is self-realization, and then the job is finished. When one realizes the basic existence, consciousness, bliss out of which the entire universe draws its strength and existence, then that one has known everything which has to be known, his or her job is finished. Instead of trying to attain some separate small spiritual powers or attainment in this universe, one has to straightaway put all their efforts to realize this basic reality, by knowing which we become omnipresence. The basic reality out of which the entire universe draws its strength and existence. When a devotee who has attained spiritual powers through various spiritual practices wishes that a particular work should be done, only that much work is accomplished. With the spiritual power, we can accomplish only a particular work. For that, he has to expend his own energy. But the jnani is self-sufficient. For him, all things have become pure. So therefore, there is nothing good or bad for him. He is himself the embodiment of goodness. He has himself become God. He became everything in the universe. So who can create any difficulty for him? How can his power, who is all-powerful and complete, be diminished? All siddhis get their power and strength from him only. Shiva is embodiment of goodness. So never think of bad things. All glory is in your own being. Do not harbor weakness in your mind. You are the supreme God and Brahman and the ultimate reality. All is well and auspicious for you. You are omnipresence. In the individual, the jiva, all types of evils and unwanted things are there. But in Shiva, all is glorious fullness. All is auspicious. There you get the ownership of divine kingdom and all of its grandeur. God is the primordial one having no beginning, and his devotee gets all of his power. Now the devotee is God right before our eyes. How can his power leave him? It is not possible. It is said that when a black cat crosses our path, it is a bad omen. But what effect can this have on his devotee? I am the essence of time. I am the auspiciousness in the auspicious moment. I have created time. Time cannot cross my path. The fact that you are the ruler of all must be steadily fixed in your mind. You, the ruler of all, you have created the time and space exist in you. You are the supreme reality which give existence to the entire universe and even to the time and space. So, no time is a bad time for you. Crossing a black cat is not a bad omen for you because you created time. Nothing can touch you, nothing can damage you, nothing can affect you. You are the ruler of the entire universe. You are the ruler of the divine kingdom. Paramatman contains all the riches, all the wealth. Why bother to know what is going on another's mind? It's a spiritual power to know that what is going on somebody's mind. Why a jnani, who is the omnipresence reality, bother to know what's happening in somebody's mind? What are you going to know except his anxiety of what will happen, what will happen? When you are God, why should you wish to hold gold in your home? If you have such a desire, how are you Paramatman? There is no happiness gained from the powers that one expects to get. It is only way of passing time. Gaining gold, trying to know what is happening. Gaining gold or wealth, through spiritual powers, actualization, materialization, using spiritual powers to gain wealth, to fame, trying to read somebody's mind, trying to see the faraway things, trying to see the future, past. All these spiritual powers are not required for a perfected man who is omnipresent supreme reality, untouched by whatever happens, the body, mind, ego, world field. All these things of attaining spiritual power is just an entertainment, a time pass. It's not required for self-realization. Your true nature is eternal happiness. It is surprising that you are imagining some other kind of happiness. Your true nature itself is eternal happiness. It itself has the fragrance of bliss. When it is such, it is surprising that you are imagining that there is some other happiness outside you which has to be attained. You yourself are the glory. You are the happiness. Your nature itself is happiness. You are the supreme happiness in all happiness. It is your duty to see the welfare of all friends as well as enemies. You have to bless because you are the unlimited happiness. You have to give happiness to everybody around, for the friends and the enemies, wherever they are. Whoever surrounds you, you should give the fragrance of your own nature. There is no need for you to beg happiness from the world. There is no need for you to imagine some happiness in the future. You are yourself unlimited eternal happiness. The saint never thinks badly about the person who troubles him. One who has come to me has seen me as God, and has only come as God comes to enquire. Let someone worship you and pray for your blessing, or let someone throw abuse at you. You should give him only blessings. Do not feel elated by some good effect or sorry because of lack of some desired effect. One who has faith will get happiness from you. Only those will meet you who are to be benefited. They will not meet you until that time. When you are realized and established in self, with the fragrance of unlimited bliss and happiness, only those people who should be benefited from you will meet you. That which is to happen is already fixed in the invisible world. Your prophecy is just an indication, but it is true that it is necessary. Your benediction should be there. That the work will be accomplished is the extent to which it is already fixed. The doctor gives medicine in order to restore one to health, but some patients might die. What blame is there on the doctor? Is it not enough that the doctor should have a real desire for the patient's recovery? Like that, bless everyone who is coming near you. Bless everyone that they are suffering go away. Let the true knowledge shine in them. Let them be established in self. But what is going to happen is already predetermined. Whether we bless or blame, whatever has to happen will happen. But the saint never wishes bad things even for his or her enemy. You become a saint not for other people but only for yourself. You become a realized person not to bless others or to change the world, but for yourself. If anybody gets the benefit from this, let him have it. But you should not think about what you will get, nor should you worry about your power. Just be established in the self, in your true nature. So whatever happens out of that, how many people will be benefited out of that, in whatever way they will be benefited, all these things are not your concern. You don't have to worry about that. Never deviate from the faith in your own state of self. Think about whether you have become Brahman for its own sake or just to satisfy the illusion. The status is very high. Do not become removed from the throne that is rightfully yours. You have attained self-realization and established in the Brahman. This is the highest state possible. in all the worlds and the universe out of all the beings. So never come down for its own sake. Just being the truth, be the truth, not for something else. Being the truth and I am going to change the world. No, just for its own sake, be in the throne, occupy your own throne. It's for you to know that you are the eternal, unlimited bliss. Do not become removed from the throne that it is rightfully yours. There is nothing in the universe to gain by losing this stature of this realization. There is nothing else to be gained in this world or other worlds. We should never leave this throne. It is said that the sage Narada has attained Brahman, but when he saw some man, the man died. So do not be afraid that even someone may die by your sight. Do not let your faith hesitate. Are you not Brahman? No matter what happens, if the faith is fixed in Brahman, then power is increased through the path of knowledge. However, see to it that your aloneness is not disturbed. Once and for all, be certain who you are, where you are, and how you are. One who is Paramatman can never not be Paramatman. Whatever may happen, let you have some powers, do not have some powers. Let somebody, you have such power that even if your vision, somebody may die, somebody's disease might have cured, somebody's sufferings might have resolved. You may or may not have such spiritual powers. Sometimes the spiritual powers may work or do not work, but it's immaterial. Do not leave your throne. Do not leave your aloneness. Do not leave your place that you are a supreme reality. Whatever happened, let it happen around you because of you being established as reality. Some things may happen around you. Some people will come to you. Some people may run away from you. Whatever happened, let it happen. But you be clear of who you are. You are Paramatman. You are established as Paramatman. This clarity of who you are should never waver for any reason. So, such an individual is a perfected man, Jnani. Thank you.